anyway.
Well, it does as far as representation.
It's like school board elections, you know, that people run down to vote against it or for it. Doesn't matter. There's only about a 3% amount that they can change it.
Well, you know, obviously our budget, major player is the Sheriff Department and the DPF. People want their...
What's DPF?
Public snow plowing.
Snow plowing.
So they want to see the roads plowed and they want to see some kind of patrol service.
Good slammer, too.
Well, yeah.
Which is overflowing always.
Yeah, but I just assure my people in this viewing area, you do not want to go to 15 legislators.
Yeah.
You want to maintain some numbers.
And if you listen to real wisdom, it doesn't make any difference anyway. It's a silly thing. All right. I don't know why people get on.
Well, it's a good question. Pardon me. It's a good question. I'm willing to answer it and spend more time with the individual if they have more questions.
Okay, sure. What's your phone number? If anybody wants to get in touch with you.
My phone number is area code 716, obviously, 761-6645.
And again, 716.
761.
761.
6645.
664. And you answer the phone, I noticed.
Sure, I do, and I return my calls.
There, yeah. So at any rate, if you want to get in touch with Fred Crosscut, who's been there for long enough to know the score in our county legislature, give him a call if you have any questions, because he'll fill you in with no nonsense. Fred, I wanted to mention the health care issue on the county level. Now, our budget is pretty strained because New York State did a phony thing. Back when Medicaid was established for the poor and the underprivileged and people without work and people who work for companies that don't provide health care and seniors and what have you, the state was saddled with 50% of the cost of it, and the federal government pays 50%. But New York State, in their wisdom, one of two states left who does this, saddled the local counties with this.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it is New York State has the highest taxes in the country, for any state, according to all the records.
Right.
Chautauqua County, according to all the records excepting the legislators here, has the highest tax on a per capita basis in the state, which means that Chautauqua County has the highest taxes in the entire country. This county does, according to the figures we get. One of the large costs of the county is Medicaid because of the fact we have a lot of seniors,
Correct.
a lot of unemployed,
Correct.
a lot of companies that are very minimal and can't afford to pay for health care, so they don't get insurance. So we have a whopping number of people up here who have no insurance. When they get sick, they have to go to the insurance of last resort, Medicaid, which the county has to pay half of the state's share, which is 25% of the total bill, which amounts to millions every year, and we're saddled with this.
Right.
And they say, well, they've given us some breaks here and some breaks there. We still have a monster bill.
Correct.
What are we going to do about these things?
Well, and you might have been on vacation when we talked about trading our sales tax revenue.
I caught that, and I'm sure the state is really happy about that.
Well, I don't think the state, when they come back, will accept our proposal.
Of course not.
You know,
it's going to
that's
cost
the
them
point.
some money.
Right.
They want to slaughter us financially,
yeah.
and they're in the business of doing that.
You're right, but the point is that our Medicaid costs keep going up every year, even though there's a cap.
Sure they do. Sure they do. Well, more and more people don't have work.
Right.
More and more people don't have the money to buy insurance. More and more companies up here are saying, look, we got to cut back sharply on the insurance or discontinue it completely.
Right.
So you have a rising bill that's rising like crazy.
Right. But we did make some concessions with our employees this year when we did their contracts. We did get some health care concessions as far as the part the county contributes to health care. In return, they did get a raise, but it was, I think, a win-win situation, so we've addressed that as far as our employees in the county. As far as the Medicaid cost, all we can do is continue to pay what we got to pay, and that's a rising cost we're going to have to deal with every year until something
Well, what's
changes.
a rough figure for that Medicaid cost?
I didn't bring that with me, but it's a major player. Yeah, it's a major player. You just got your taxes.
I think it's just about most of our property taxes go just for the Medicaid.
Well, now we're paying out more, and that's why we're receptive to this switching sales tax for Medicaid.
We got a couple of calls. You want to take a call?
Sure, we'll take the call.
Good morning, caller. Hello there.
Good morning.
What's up?
Good morning.
And welcome home.
Thank you.
Your guest host did a wonderful...
You weren't away, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Your guest hosts have done a wonderful job while you were gone.
Yeah. Oh, the Randy Berg, he's fantastic. Randy Berg does a job unbelievably. And John Hamels, what a champion.
Okay, I do have a question for your guest. First off, have you read the proposed bill for the health care program that President Obama has proposed.
Well, I've read the skimpy amounts, but I mean, the devil's in the details. But in the meantime, we're the only country left that doesn't have this universal health care. And in Canada, 96% of the people they poll like it, even though they're telling us they hate it. That's baloney. And yes, everybody's getting real health care. And at this point, that's one of the option. I guess that's a nuclear option as far as the Republicans are concerned, because they keep telling us this is designed to kill seniors. That's the story they're putting across. They're going to have extermination camps for seniors, evidently. That's the real secret to health care savings. Kill the seniors off, and then you won't have half the health care costs.
I would certainly think that's not true. And no, to answer your question, I have not read that.
Okay, well, that does answer my question, but there is a fact that I think all Americans should be taking into, and this is a fact. In this country, per year, 45,000, that's 45,000 people die for either lack of or adequate health care insurance. That is more people than die in drunk driving accidents, if you want to call them accidents from a drunk driver, or, no, not drunk
almost
driving.
Almost as many they killed in Vietnam, for that matter. Every year.
It's more people than die in drunk driving accidents and are murdered. This is combined in the United States per year. Now, in a country like ours, which is the greatest country in the world, I find it's unacceptable. If this was a disease, we would be screaming, because that's more people than die of cancer, certain kinds of cancers every year. I don't understand the rationale for not wanting to have what every other civilized country in the world has, unless there's somebody or something with an axe to grind that's going to lose money. And I think we all know who that is, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be...
$1 trillion a year, the insurance companies, 1,400 of them, depending on whose figures you believe, garner out of health insurance. And they return about, on average, 30% they keep in their pocket for profits and expensive directors and employees and bonuses and things such as that. 30% of your insurance dollar goes to the insurance company. You get 70% back, and you listen to some snotty kid on the phone who has just graduated from high school who denies you your health care.
My point is, in a country such as ours, which is the greatest country in the world as far as I'm concerned, I find it, especially a Christian country, I find it unconscionable that we are willing to allow more people to die from this particular reason than of many of our common diseases, which we spend trillions of dollars fighting and so forth, subsidizing. But I just...
Well, caller, it's a good point. You make a good point, and it's because 50 million Americans have no health insurance whatsoever, and there's probably another 50 that have minimal health insurance. They're bankrupted in seconds. One little disease and bingo, they're a short stay in the hospital. They're out of insurance because it's inadequate. In the meantime, 50% of all bankruptcies in this country are health care related. 50%, Fred, did you know that?
I didn't know that.
And secondly, did you realize that 3/4 of those who went bankrupt for health care had insurance? It's worthless.
The caller, I have to just respond to her, the fact that, does she think a government-run health care system is what we want? And this is one of the big debates.
Well, no, this shouldn't even be a debate, because there was an election. I am a registered Republican.
Yeah.
I voted Democrat because and I have health care insurance, by the way, and I'm very satisfied with mine. But my conscience believes that we cannot afford, as, like I said, the greatest country in the world, to allow this to happen to our citizens. I just feel that it's morally wrong, and I don't understand how people that claim to be Christians can morally say, well, it's just too bad for you. Use all your money up, then go bankrupt and beg from the country or from a charity. But the first option was to go on. By the way, I believe this is run by the country, a government program.
So Social Security.
Absolutely. But anyway,
doing away with.
I also have a point to make, because I hate the scare tactic